What if I told you that the constant stress, the simmering anxiety, the sudden flashes of anger you feel are a choice? Not a conscious one, perhaps, not a choice you want to make, but a choice nonetheless, rooted in habits of the mind we've practiced for years. Think about the last time something truly rattled you. A critical comment from your boss, an unexpected bill, someone cutting you off in traffic. It felt like an external event reached inside you and took control, didn't it? It felt like your peace was stolen. But the ancient masters of the mind, the sages of Buddhism, would offer a radical perspective. They would say that nothing and no one can steal your peace. You can only give it away. This sounds impossible, I know. It sounds like a platitude. But it is one of the most profound truths you can ever integrate into your life. For over 2,500 years, these teachings have provided a precise, actionable blueprint for building a mind that is not just calm, but unstoppable. Unshakeable. A mind that can stand in the center of a hurricane and feel only the stillness within. Today, we are not just going to talk about this. We are going to walk the path. We will unpack 10 of the most powerful Buddhist principles that, if you practice them, will make it so that nothing can truly affect you. Let's begin this journey with the cornerstone of all Buddhist thought. It's a concept often misunderstood, but it is the key that unlocks everything else. Principle number 1. Acknowledge the nature of suffering, dukkha. The first noble truth the Buddha taught was this: there is suffering. Now, this can sound pessimistic, can't it? But it's actually the most liberating statement you can ever accept. Dukkha doesn't just mean dramatic pain, like illness or loss. It refers to a much subtler, pervasive sense of dissatisfaction. It's that feeling that something is off, that things aren't quite right. It's the anxiety about the future, the regret about the past, the low-level hum of wanting things to be different than they are. By acknowledging that this feeling is a fundamental, unavoidable part of the human experience, you stop fighting it. You stop feeling like there's something wrong with you for feeling this way. It's like acknowledging that gravity exists. You don't blame yourself for it, you just learn to work with it. The proof of this is in our own lives. We get the promotion we wanted, and for a week we're happy. Then the dissatisfaction creeps back in. We start worrying about the new responsibilities. The happiness was temporary. By accepting dukkha, you take the first step toward freedom. The how is simple, yet profound. When you feel that sense of dissatisfaction, just label it. Silently say to yourself, this is dukkha. This is the feeling of wanting reality to be different. No judgment, no resistance, just acknowledgement. This single act creates a space between you and the feeling, and in that space, peace begins to grow. Principle number 2. Identify the cause of suffering, samudaya. If the first principle is the diagnosis, the second is identifying the cause of the illness. The Buddha taught that the root of all our dissatisfaction is craving and attachment, or tanha. We suffer because we desperately cling to things we want and violently push away things we don't. We are attached to pleasure, to praise, to having a good reputation, to people loving us. We have an aversion to pain, to criticism, to failure. Think of it like holding a burning coal. The coal is the desire, the attachment. It's the clinging to the coal that burns your hand. The moment you let go, the suffering stops. The coal might still be hot, the difficult situation might still exist, but the self-inflicted pain of holding on to it is gone. We do this all the time. We replay an argument in our heads for days, clinging to our anger. We desperately crave someone's approval, attaching our self-worth to their opinion. The how here is to become a detective of your own mind. When a strong negative emotion arises, ask yourself, what am I attached to right now? What outcome am I desperately craving? Is it the need to be right? The need for things to be easy? The need for someone to act a certain way? By simply seeing the attachment, you loosen its grip. You realize the pain isn't just the situation, it's your clinging to a specific result. Principle number 3, realize the end of suffering is possible, nirodha. This is the principle of hope. It is the radical and beautiful promise that since suffering has a cause, it can also have an end. This is nirvana. And nirvana isn't some far-off mystical heaven. It is a state of mind accessible to you right now. It is the peace that comes when the fires of craving, aversion, and ignorance are extinguished. It's the end of the constant wanting mind. Imagine your mind as a turbulent lake, churned up by the winds of desire and fear. Nirodha is the promise that the wind can stop, and the water can become perfectly still, perfectly clear, reflecting the world just as it is without distortion. The proof isn't in a story, but in moments you've already experienced. Have you ever been so absorbed in a task, art, music, sport, work, that you completely forgot yourself? Your worries vanished, your ego dissolved. For a moment, you were just pure presence. That is a glimpse of nirodha. The how is to cultivate contentment. The practice is to intentionally find moments to appreciate what you have, right here, right now, without needing anything to be different. It can be as simple as savoring a cup of tea, feeling the warmth of the sun, or truly listening to a friend. In these small moments of non-wanting, you are tasting freedom. Principle number 4, walk the middle way, magga. So, how do we get there? The Buddha laid out a practical, step-by-step guide, the Noble Eightfold Path. Think of it as the prescription for curing suffering. It's often called the middle way because it avoids two extremes the Buddha himself experienced. The extreme of sensual indulgence he had as a prince, and the extreme of severe self-denial he practiced as an ascetic. Neither brought him peace. The path to peace lies in balance and moderation. It's not about becoming a monk and renouncing the world. It's about how you live in the world. The path is divided into 3 parts. First is wisdom, right understanding, seeing things as they are, understanding these principles, and right intent, having a genuine desire to be kind and compassionate. Second is ethical conduct, right speech, no lying, harsh words, or gossip, right action, not harming living things, and right livelihood, making a living in a way that doesn't cause harm. Third is mental discipline, right effort, promoting wholesome thoughts and letting go of unwholesome ones, right mindfulness, being present, and right concentration, the practice of meditation. The how is to pick one of these to focus on each week. This week, just focus on right speech. Notice every word you say. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? This one small practice can radically change your interactions and your inner state. Principle number 5, embrace impermanence, anicca. This is perhaps the most powerful principle for dealing with the chaos of life. Everything changes. Everything. Nothing is permanent. The good times won't last forever, but crucially, neither will the bad times. We suffer because we forget this. We try to hold on to happy moments, creating anxiety when they fade. We resist difficult moments, creating despair because we think they'll last forever. There's a beautiful story of a woman who lost her son and, mad with grief, went to the Buddha for medicine. He told her he could help, but first she must bring him a mustard seed from a house that had never known death. She went from house to house, and while everyone wanted to help, every single family had experienced loss. She realized that death and change are a universal part of life. Her personal suffering became a shared human experience, and in that understanding, she found peace. The how is to become a student of change. Watch the clouds move across the sky. Notice the leaves on the trees change with the seasons. When you experience a strong emotion, joy, sadness, anger, remind yourself, This is impermanent. This too shall pass. This creates an incredible sense of resilience. You can endure any pain knowing it won't last, and you can appreciate any joy knowing it is precious and fleeting. Principle number 6. Understand no self, anatta. This is the most challenging but most liberating concept. Buddhism teaches that there is no fixed, permanent, independent self or I. What we call our self is actually just a temporary collection of changing elements: our body, our feelings, our thoughts, our memories. It's like a river. You can point to the river, but you can't step in the same water twice. It's a constantly changing process, not a static thing. We think, I am an angry person, or I am a failure. This creates a solid, heavy identity that we then have to defend. Anatta teaches that you are not your thoughts or your emotions. You are the awareness that observes them. A thought of anger can arise, but it doesn't have to be your anger. It's just a thought. This idea is the ultimate circuit breaker for the ego. The ego wants to be right, to be important, to be permanent. Understanding anatta allows you to let go of that constant battle. The how is to practice depersonalization. When you feel a strong emotion, instead of saying, I am angry, try observing it and saying, there is a feeling of anger present. This small shift in language creates a huge shift in perspective. You are the sky, and the emotions are just clouds passing through. You are not the storm. Principle number 7, cultivate mindfulness, sati. If you only remember one principle, let it be this one. Mindfulness is the practice of paying attention to the present moment on purpose without judgment. Most of our suffering comes from not being present. We are either lost in regret about the past or consumed by anxiety about the future. The past and future are illusions. They exist only as thoughts in your mind right now. The only reality you ever have is this present moment. Mindfulness is the anchor that brings you back to reality. When you are mindful, you are not reacting on autopilot. You are responding with awareness. Viktor Frankl said, between stimulus and response there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Mindfulness is that space. The how is to integrate it into your daily life. You don't need to sit on a cushion for an hour. Wash the dishes mindfully. Feel the warm water on your hands. See the soap bubbles. Hear the clink of the plates. Go for a walk and turn off your phone. Notice the feeling of your feet on the ground, the sound of the birds, the sight of the trees. Bring your full attention to one simple sensory experience. This is the training that builds the muscle of presence. Principle number 8, practice compassion, karuna. Compassion is the active desire to see suffering diminish in others and, crucially, in yourself. It is the heart of Buddhist teachings. We often think of compassion as being nice, but it is a source of immense strength. Anger, resentment, and judgment are heavy burdens to carry. They poison our own minds far more than they affect the person we're angry with. Compassion is the antidote. It understands that when people act out of hatred or ignorance, they are themselves suffering. As the saying goes, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Compassion is choosing to stop drinking the poison. This extends to yourself, too. Self-compassion is not self-pity or self-indulgence. It is treating yourself with the same kindness you would offer a good friend when they are struggling. You wouldn't berate a friend for making a mistake, so why do you do it to yourself? The how is to practice loving-kindness meditation, metta. Sit quietly for a few minutes. First, wish yourself well. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be free from suffering. Then extend that wish to someone you love. Then to a neutral person. Then the hard part. Extend it to someone you have difficulty with. Finally, extend it to all living beings. This practice rewires your brain for kindness and connection, dissolving the walls of anger and isolation. Principle number 9. Understand karma. Karma is one of the most misunderstood concepts. It is not a cosmic system of reward and punishment. It is simply the law of cause and effect. Every action, speech, and thought motivated by intention is a seed you plant. Skillful, wholesome actions, rooted in kindness, generosity, and clarity, will plant seeds that lead to peace and happiness. Unskillful, unwholesome actions, rooted in greed, hatred, and delusion, will plant seeds that lead to suffering. It's that simple. It's not about a divine judge. It's about emotional physics. If you constantly act with anger, you will experience a world filled with conflict and hostility, because that is the energy you are putting out and the mental state you are cultivating. If you act with kindness, you will cultivate a peaceful mind and attract more positive interactions. This principle gives you total responsibility for your life. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the gardener of your mind and your life. You choose which seeds to plant in every moment. The how is to practice intentionality. Before you speak or act, take one single breath and ask yourself, what is the intention behind this action? Is it to help or to harm? Is it coming from a place of peace or a place of fear? This simple pause can change everything. Principle number 10. Detachment is freedom. Finally, we arrive at the principle that ties everything together. Detachment does not mean you don't care. It does not mean being cold or aloof. It means you care deeply, you act with compassion, you strive for the best, but you let go of your attachment to the outcome. You understand that you can control your effort, your intention, and your actions, but you cannot control the results. The world is too complex, filled with countless variables beyond your influence. True freedom is finding peace in your effort, not in the applause or the reward that may or may not follow. It is the difference between playing a beautiful piece of music for the love of the music itself versus playing it only to win a competition. The first is joyful and free. The second is filled with anxiety and pressure. The how is to shift your focus from the goal to the process. When you're working on a project, focus on doing the best work you can moment by moment and let go of whether it will be a success or failure. When you have a conversation, focus on listening and speaking with kindness and let go of the need to win the argument. Pour yourself into the action and release your grip on the fruit of the action. This is the ultimate path to inner peace. In this state, nothing can truly affect you because your well-being is no longer dependent on the unpredictable, ever-changing world outside. It is anchored in the unshakable quality of your own mindful, compassionate actions.